Way through the divisional round. We're presented by Hard Rock Bet. Colin Russo and Cade Chumsden, we got you up until 11 a.m. Happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning and a wonderful weekend, a holiday weekend with Martin Luther King Day tomorrow in the national championship with Miami and Indiana tomorrow as well. Got a lot to talk about. We had two big games yesterday, one of which was a blowout, the other which was an overtime game between the Broncos and the Bills, in which the Broncos were able to squeak it out 33-30, 3 possessions in that game as well. Bo Nix fractures his right ankle on the second to last play of the game when it was all but done for. And he is going to be out for the remainder of that playoff run for the Broncos, who have advanced to the AFC Championship game. They're going to start, as long as it stands today, Jarrett Stidham, Auburn legend for those who remember. He will be starting at quarterback for them, but we got a lot to talk about. First things first, we're presented by Hard Rock Bet. Go download the Hard Rock Bet app today where you could get in on the divisional round yourself. You could get in on the national championship. Check out the promo boosts and the profit boosts that they have throughout the week. College basketball day by day. College football closing out things tomorrow. NFL playoffs, NBA, MLB around the corner. Just about everything you need on the app. If you get started now, you put just $5 into the app and you win that first $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account as a bonus bet. Go get started today and go have some fun on Hard Rock Bet and then put together a parlay, game-by-game futures. You name it, they got it. Hard Rock Bet offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida must be 21 plus, physically present in Florida the wager. Terms, conditions apply. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. All right, we got a lot to talk about. Let's start with this Bill-Bronco game because a lot of storylines coming out of this, and I hated the immediate reaction post-game because it was one of those games where you hate to see an ending such as that because it was a good back-and-forth affair. Broncos got out to a little bit of a lead. They were 20-10 at halftime, and Bills rumbled back into the football game. It goes to OT, and all of a sudden, the Bills get a stop. They get a stop in OT, so all you need is a field goal. And they get a couple first downs. You're thinking, boy, oh boy, we're 2 plays away from Josh Allen going to an AFC Championship game. And a couple things happen. Bad incompletion on 2nd and 10. Then a pass deep to Brandon Cooks over the middle. Brandon Cooks got his hands on it. For all purposes, caught it. Got to the ground. And McMillan, the defensive back, sort of had his hands on it too. And ripped it away once Cooks, in a lot of ways, was on the ground in the motion of going to the ground. Interception on the play. Broncos go right down the field off 2 pass interference penalties. Kick a field goal, win the game. So right then and there, if you miss the game, doesn't sound great in terms of, well, you hate to see it end like that. Kate, I'm willing to go to the lengths that I actually think the first pass interference was iffy, but there was a roughing the passer penalty on the same play, so it would have been 15 yards regardless. I think the refs nailed everything in that overtime.
I did too. Okay, good. I was very curious how we were going to approach today because I seriously, and I think you worded it perfectly. The first pass interference was the
I wouldn't have called that, but there was another penalty on the field that you would have called anyway,
which was about the same yards. It really wasn't super long play. I thought the second pass interference was golden. Tre'Davious White has no argument right there. He clobbered the guy before the ball was even close and never looked at the ball. And
they have to call that. They have to call that.
And I think the interception is legit too, because I think the NFL has done a good job ever since the Dez Bryant catch in the playoffs, where you have to control it throughout the process of the catch. Brandon Cooks may have touched the ground with the ball in his possession, but by no means did he go anywhere past the initial contact of the ground with that possession, because there's
no survival of the ground. No, that's the word they love throwing around.
Not even close.
Survival of the ground.
Who was the guy on the call last night? Who was the rules analyst for CBS? I forget his name right now.
Gene Steratore.
Thank you. I thought he did a beautiful job explaining it too.
The one thing about Gene is that Gene agrees with everything. You know, I've never seen Gene disagree with a call on a broadcast ever, but I agree with your perspective that
at least his explanation.
Here's the thing: the game-losing play was the Tre'Davious White pass interference, and that was a pass interference. And it sucks.
Clear as day.
It sucks as a football fan to see such a great game come down to that. And in a lot of ways, it bails out a bad throw. It was a bad throw.
Huge.
He had to step back into the route, And Tre'Davious Wright, who's already a step beat, runs into the receiver because the receiver's slowing down for the pass.
If you just looked up at the ball.
Right, but it just bails out a bad throw. And maybe that was done intentionally.
Although, to be fair, give Bo Nix credit, though. That is after the broken ankle. Because according to Sean Payton, Bo Nix broke his ankle on the previous scramble play, on the previous run.
I believe that was the one where they were already trying to get field position for the field goal. I think that was after that play. Am I wrong?
No, so how it worked was they got into field goal range with the first pass interference, and they weren't exactly sure whether to keep pushing the ball or just run it because they knew they were in field goal range. So Bo Nix got a QB run design play for him around the outside, and they lost like 2 yards. But he gets tripped up at the ankles. The next play is when he stood in the pocket and delivered the ball downfield in the Tre'Davious White, because then it was the knee and then it was the field goal.
Right.
So Bo Nix is on a broken ankle throwing that ball. In general, I'll take it from him.
Yeah, I hated the way that game ended. As a football fan, you hate to see it end like that, and the NFL gets killed here because the NFL would have rathered nothing else than not only for the Bills to win that game and get Josh Allen in that AFC Championship game, but now with no Bo Nix as starting quarterback for the Broncos, you're going to have the winner of this Texan-Patriot game walk in to Mile High next week playing a backup quarterback who hasn't played. Bo Nix has been there. And Jarrett Stidham has been a guy who's had a weird career. I remember he was a good college player, pretty good college player in those Iron Bowls because he was on the Patriots, believe it or not. That was where he was drafted. But he's been a perennial backup throughout his NFL career. The one thing I'll say is he's been with Denver basically the entirety of Sean Payton's, tenure. And he's been a Sean Payton guy from the beginning. So for those of you who are saying, oh, go get a veteran, no. You're going at it with your backup quarterback. You're starting Jarrett Stidham in that game. And you got to hope that a guy who's been there for 3 years and has been a backup for 3 years knows the offense well enough to be able to get them through that game. That's the only option they have. But back to the Bill game. You hate to see the OTN like that, but if you're the Buffalo Bills, who else can you look at but yourself? 5 turnovers in the game, 4 of which by Josh Allen. You are 0-3 in the playoffs in overtime. Josh Allen is 0-7 in his career when the game goes to overtime. And you turn the ball over 4 times. That's the most in a playoff game since Carson Palmer. I mean, you can't sit there and assume victory and say, boy, the refs screwed us. You can't say that. Not when you got the ball in overtime with just points to win the whole game. That's where I can't sit there and sympathize. Because this is not a sympathy. And the weird thing is when the Bills lose, it's sympathy. When the Ravens lose, it's let's pound the team. That's what it feels like.
Yep.
I don't think that's fair. Buffalo lost this football game. Josh Allen was 0 for 8 on passes 20 yards down the field.
Yeah, jeez.
Which is the worst mark in his career. So I can't sit here and play sympathy card for Josh Allen. And how about this? He had 9 off-target throws, tied for the most in his postseason career.
And I think the biggest one was that one at the end of the first half when you could have gone for the win, or second half, and it was who? Knox was open, Kincaid. One of the tight ends was
Kincaid open down the seam, and he sailed it.
open.
And he sailed it. He absolutely sailed it. You're 100% right. That was Kincaid, the last play they really had. He had a couple opportunities there. And he couldn't get it done. And there was a number of off-target throws that you had. I mean, this is sort of a forgotten about play too. That final drive of the game on the one where they had the interception the next play. On 2nd and 11, he had the pass incomplete deep left to McCall Hardman. And Hardman was open. That would have been you get that pass completed. We're talking about a field goal.
You're talking about the one at his ankles and he tried going for it.
And then Romo said you ran the wrong route. The pass wasn't any good, Romo.
I was thinking the same thing.
Tony, the pass is at his ankles and he's wide open. What do you mean he ran the wrong? Maybe he did. I mean, guys, that was a bigger misfire in my opinion. You complete that, you win the game. That was on 2nd and 11. Then the next play, they chuck it deep on 3rd and 11. One-on-one coverage. And all things considered, it was a pretty good play, but you're throwing it to a 35-year-old Brandon Cooks down the field. Excellent play defensively. I can't sit here and sympathize for Buffalo because when are we going to start to hold Buffalo accountable for how they handle these games? You thought Buffalo got screwed last year? Maybe the QB sneak should have had it, but they should have, completed one of the 2 QB sneaks they had against the Chiefs. You shouldn't have ran it 2 times in a row.
The team that didn't want the tush push and was the team that filed with it with the Eagles.
Oh, my God. You can't sit there and the last play of the first half, down 7, when you got, 25 seconds to get down the field, go get a field goal. You can't have Josh Allen scramble out of the pocket and basically lateral the ball backward so the Broncos can get a free field goal at the end of the half. Can't have that. And you can't have multiple 3 turnover plays in that second half. You can't do that. That's not winning football, not in a road game. And you got to give Knicks credit because if you want to make one thing into consideration, you got to give them credit for how they handled that go-ahead drive. Second to last drive of the fourth quarter. Because he took him down the field and he had an excellent ball, one-on-one coverage, left sideline for a touchdown to take the lead. Excellent drive. And if you think Knicks didn't play that well in the game, you think again. He made a number of big-time, objectively very good throws. Objectively. And you want, Broncos have escaped every game. They scored 33 points. Got to give them a little credit. Jeez. But this is where the NFL gets killed. Because now, Cade and I are sitting here, and we're going to have Jarrett Stidham play a home playoff game against one of the Patriots or the Texans. That's not something to look forward to. Boy, the NFL get killed there.
I will say this. Do you remember, and I think it is 10 years ago. I think that's why I keep seeing this image. Do you remember that infamous graphic that the NFL posted where the 4 quarterbacks in the championship round are Blake Bortles, Tom Brady, Nick Foles,
Case Keenum,
and
right?
Case Keenum?
Yeah.
We're totally getting that again this year. And it's going to be beautiful.
There's a chance.
Because we're going to have Jarrett Stidham guaranteed. We're going to have Sam Darnold guaranteed. We're getting either CJ Stroud or Drake May and Caleb Williams or Matthew Stafford. We're going to get that plethora of quarterbacks again. And I just remember that Super Bowl, which was Eagles-Patriots, being one of the greatest Super Bowls I've ever seen. So I'm not putting anything out of the table on what we're going to get for good games these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games of the season.
Maybe we look a week from today and we think, boy, Jarrett Stidham's a folk hero. Maybe it's something like that. But you got to trust him in this situation. I've seen some people say, oh, you got to go see what the market looks like. Go get somebody off the street, please.
No, and I respect Sean Payton, too, for last night going to the media and letting them know ahead of time. And it gives confidence to the team. It gives confidence to the fan bases. Like, hey, this is the situation. This is what we're doing. We're not wasting a second humming over this issue. This is the guy. Move on. I love that.
Yeah. So now you're going to have to trust Jarrett Stidham in this spot. And it kind of hurts because that Bronco team flirts with disaster just about every time they get out there, and they rely on a lot of heroics from Bo Nix all year long. They've relied on a lot of heroics. So Stidham's going to have to play fearless. And back to the Bills, I mean, maybe this is going to be Allen's legacy. We sympathize for him because he doesn't win. Where everybody else in the entire league, we criticize for not winning. That doesn't make any sense.
What's the stat that I just saw last night? That the Bills are one of 4 teams to ever win 6 straight playoff game or 6 straight years with a playoff game win. It was the Cowboys, Chiefs, and Patriots, I want to say. All 3 of those other teams in that 6-year span won 3 Super Bowls. The Bills haven't even made it there.
Yeah. So this at a certain point, let's take a look at this. Bills year by year, because the last 6-7 years they have finished. How about this? Since COVID. Let's go the year before that. Since 2019.
I have a say about that.
Wild card round they lost after going 10-6, second in their division. COVID year, they're 13-3, first in their division. That's when they lost the conference championship game. 11-6 the year after that. That is when they lost the divisional. 13-3, they're first in their division. They lost the divisional. 11-6, first in their division, lost the divisional. 13-4, first in the division, lost the conference championship game. And then this year, 12-5, lost the division.
And one thing you're failing to mention, 3 of those games are overtime games.
Can't have that. Can't have that. At some point, you're going to have to be held accountable because you got this superhuman player back there playing quarterback that is apparently an all-time great, yet he cannot win a big game.
So I know you have talked about this before, and I'm gonna reinvigorate this thought of yours. The problem, Sean McDermott, you think? You have said this before multiple times on Russo and Rizzo. Mike Tomlin's out there for potentially next year. Other candidates are out there. Kevin Stefanski's gone. We'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
But you have said before Sean McDermott could be the issue. After last night, your thoughts on that take?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, he's a defensive-minded head coach. He's a motivator head coach. He is great in the regular season. He's good with the media. It seems like the players like him. If he's this big defensive guru, you're giving up 33 points in a big spot. I feel like every time they play a big game, they're giving up 30 points. So we know Allen's good. We know the offense is going to score. But if we're a defensive-minded head coach, I think the defense needs to be a little bit more stout than that. I'm not saying it's time to move on. Part of me, a lot of the consensus has been, well, if McDermott doesn't do it this year, he's got to be gone. I don't know if I agree with that. Not anymore, because there are already 7 jobs still available. 2 have already been filled with former head coaches, one of which is a former coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, and the other of which is a Super Bowl winning coach in John Harbaugh. So you already lose 2 pretty good prospects on the market. Is it really in the Bills' interest to get rid of Sean McDermott, who has done a great job, all things considered, with that team, and say, let's go trade for Mike Tomlin, who has underachieved his last 10 years? I get it. I really do. Sometimes it runs stale. You can make every argument in the world that this has run stale. So if they did, I can't say I'd be surprised. But I don't know right now, because they're finishing the season a little later than everybody else and there's so many options available, I don't know what their next move is. I really don't. Josh Allen just turned 30. Not saying, he's on the decline of his career, but we're running out of time. They are running out of time to capitalize on this dynasty. Capitalize on anything. The Bills are going to be characterized by 2 eras if this continues the way it's going. That 90s era, close but no cigar. So Jim Kelly couldn't really stomach it. And then the Josh Allen era, where you had a Hall of Fame quarterback who has an MVP that a lot of people don't think he deserves. Not a lot of first-team All-Pros. I don't think he has any first-team All-Pros. And was overshadowed by another all-time great. A lot like, a Phillip Rivers. That would be that legacy. And another one where they were close, but no cigar. That is what the Bills are. And I can't sympathize with them, not only because they beat Jacksonville last week, but on top of that, it's because they lose these games because they don't make plays. I mean, those penalties in the last drive, that's on you. Those were all good calls. Bosa hit him late. That's fair. And Tre'Davious White pass interference. That was fair.
Receivers were blowing by guys consistently.
I know you're shorthanded. I know your receivers got absolutely destroyed. But that was because you didn't draft well. Keon Coleman didn't work out. You had some bad injuries. I get it. But they never made it a priority in free agency. They didn't make it a priority at the trade deadline. Who else to blame but yourself? You have this great rushing attack. Wasn't that great throughout the playoffs? So at what point can we start to criticize this Bills team at being wild underachievers comparatively? Because everybody else, oh boy, the Ravens just cut it up and they were basically the same thing. The Chiefs, for 1 year we didn't have Mahomes in the postseason, the boogeyman. And you're going to lose that type of road game when you had the ball in OT, when you just need a field goal to win. And it was an interception, which was a good call. And in my opinion, the unsung play of the game was that miss to Hardman on 2nd and 11 in overtime, the play before the interception. You missed that too. That is self-inflicted. So, Bills, you're a Bill fan. This is your legacy. Underachievers. Bad in a big game. Can't win a close one. Always something happens. It's not unlucky. It's lack of execution. So I can't sit here and sympathize. And I feel like that's the style with the Bills, which I don't like. When they lose, it's sympathy. When everybody else loses, it's criticism.
I think it's going to be different this year. I'm curious to see how our friends at ESPN on First Take and Get Up and Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, which you can listen to right here on 106.30, 6 to 10 a.m. I'm curious because in years prior, it's always been the Chiefs or pretty close to it, right? Or it's been Joe Burrow, right? That is where you felt the sympathy because you're just running into a juggernaut every single year.
No sympathy anymore.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I never sympathized to begin with. To be great, you got to be great.
Yeah, the Chiefs had their own building one year.
Right. To be great, you got to beat great. And they haven't done that at any point. So shame on the Bills for losing that game. And shame on the fan for saying the referees screwed them when they had 5 turnovers in the game, 4 of which by their superhuman quarterback. Because that's a wasteful excuse. Wasteful excuse. Not fair. Not fair. Be fair. That's not fair. Kate Chums and Colin Russo looking ahead at what we have in terms of the divisional round today. Should be a good one. Let's take a quick look ahead. Presented by Jay Zolo and Associates.
Time now for a quick look. Presented by the QuickBooks Pro experts at Jay Zolo and Associates. Since 1997, Jay Zolo and Associates has been helping Palm Beach County businesses with their accounting and bookkeeping needs. From expert QuickBooks services to getting your business finances in order, their team has the knowledge and experience to help.
Quick look ahead, presented by Jay Zolo and Associates, that leading certified QuickBooks Pro advisor firm. Colin Russo and Kate Chumson with you. It's the divisional round. We are halfway through it. We have not brought up the other game, but we do know that the Bills underachieved once again, and the Broncos made the plays when they needed to. And yes, a couple fortunate calls. You hate to see the game end like that, but they're all fair calls. So before you want to call ref show, I hate that the game ended like that, but don't penalize the opponent, and you won't be put into that situation. But the Broncos move on. Bo Nix actually hurts his ankle, fractures his ankle, will need season-ending surgery. It is going to be the Jarrett Stidham show the rest of the way. They're going to have a home game, and you wonder if the backup can take them to the promised land. We've seen crazier things. Can it be done with Jarrett Stidham? That's number one. Number two, another one seeds. The Seattle Seahawks, they utterly dominated yesterday. And I was dead wrong on this game because I was under the impression that the 49ers would come in and compete. 49ers played this team a week and a half ago where it was a competitive game, but 49ers short rest. They've continued to lose players. They lost Tongas last night. They lost Kittle. Every single person on that team is hurt. And Brock Purdy ran for 413 yards in the backfield on 30 dropbacks because of how much he was scrambling. That's a stat. So that is just as much of a defensive dominating performance as we've ever seen. We have 2 of the great defenses we've seen in years on both the AFC and the NFC for different reasons, too. The NFC component of the Seattle Seahawks defense is just as dominant as we've seen in terms of coverages, schematics, style, using different coverages, too high safety, creative blitz packages, whereas the Texans are just so much talent, a war chest of talent, that they just deploy and cover 2 every single play, and they play you straight up. Really is a yin and yang of all-time great defenses that we're seeing in these playoffs. But Seattle moves on. They win easy 41-6. They sort of blew it open towards the end of the second half. Couple unfortunate plays by the 49ers. They were not ready to play in that first quarter. And then you look ahead in terms of what we have today. You get 2 games today, 3 and 6 o'clock. First of which is going to be the Houston Texans, maybe in a snow game, taking on the New England Patriots with that vaunted defense. Last time we saw the Texans, that offense did not play well at all. It was your defensive show. C.J. Stroud had a lot of turnover-worthy plays, and they're going to need a little bit more out of him if they're going to want to beat the New England Patriots today. But that defense is going to travel. You know that defense is going to be tough, and the Patriots know exactly what they're getting into. You're going to have to protect Drake May, and you're going to have to try to take chances on them and try to expose whatever matchup nightmare you can maybe, create. So the Patriots have a tall task today, a lot of pressure, because now everybody knows that they're going against a backup quarterback in the following game. This is a very monumental game in that AFC divisional side. That is the first of which. The second of which is going to be the Chicago Bears, sort of the darling of this year's playoffs, playing at home once again, another freezing cold game at Soldier Field. Going to be windy, going to be cold. wind chill in this maybe 0, -5, whatever it might be, against a Los Angeles Ram team, postseason coded, postseason trained, a great head coach going against his 15th different team to face in the postseason out of 15 games. How about that for a stat? Sean McVay has coached in 15 playoff games. It's going to be against 15 different teams. That is unbelievable. But he's going to have a tall task today, trying to mitigate that weather, trying to keep Caleb Williams and that offense contained, and trying to see if he can get Matthew Stafford back to the promised land, because they haven't played well. Last month, ever since that 30-16 lead on Thursday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, the Rams have not played well. They've not played well at all. So they're going to need some heroics today if they're going to want to escape Chicago with a victory. There's your quick look ahead. 2 games to be looking forward to. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to previewing that a little later on in the program. That is Jay Zolo and Associates, the leading certified QuickBooks Pro advisor firm. Colin Russo, Cade Chumson will do a little headline hierarchy. We're still going to make some picks against the spread. A lot of storylines to follow. It is Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Every athlete you see competing in the College Football Playoff National Championship had to find the right path to get there. At IMG Academy, helping student athletes find the right path to the next level is part of the game plan. From a world-renowned boarding school that develops student athletes every day to premier sport camps where skill is honed and elevated, IMG Academy prepares student athletes for the next level, on and off the field. And through IMG Academy Plus, student athletes anywhere can receive unmatched college recruiting support or even a personal remote-based mental performance coach. Start your preparation with IMG Academy.
Hey, it's Tina. Okay, let's be real. When you need tires or a battery, you want someone you can actually trust, right? That's why I go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire. They've been keeping South Florida moving for over 50 years, and they're still family-owned. They've got all the big tire brands, plus batteries for pretty much everything. Their best price out the door guarantee means you know you're getting the best deal. So next time your car needs something, don't stress. Just go to St. Lucie Battery and Tire, slbt.com. Trust me, they've got you covered.
Hey, it's Theo, and let's be real. Moving sucks. Boxes, packing, all that stress. Who's got time for it? That's why there's Safebound Moving and Storage. We handle everything. Whether you're moving local or long distance, we offer a headache-free experience, just the way moving should be. Get your free quote today at safeboundmoving.com, because every move should feel safe with Safebound.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics.
Mike Rizzo here with the Sports Business Minute presented by the Florida Atlantic MBA in Sport Management program. And then there were 2. The College Football National Championship this year will feature the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers at Hard Rock Stadium. That's coming up on January 19th, and it is going to be technically not a home game, but a home game for the Miami Hurricanes. But if you're not one of those 2 teams, it is transfer portal season, and there is a report out there that almost 40% of college football players are in the transfer portal. Teams have been gutted. Teams have been adding. It is that time of the year where we are closing down the college football season. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the Florida Atlantic MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The Florida Atlantic MBA in Sport Management Program.
If he gets a field goal here, I do think if the Bills lose this football game, I can't. Are you still excusing Josh Allen?
Well, let's see how they lose. I mean, the game's not over.
I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying you let
them. If it's 35-34, I guess we could always look back at that. But
here it is on the way, and the Denver Broncos have won it in overtime.
Let's go scatter to west, right, tight, F left, 372 Y stick Z spot.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
You lose, but with 4 turnovers from your star quarterback, no sympathy from me, I'll tell you that. But you've seen the PGA's Tour's best on the course, but in the arena, it's prime time. Season 2 of TGL, presented by SoFi, is back with big moments, big personalities, nonstop action on the big screen. That's shot clocks, hammer drops, timeouts, overtime, city versus city, squad versus squad. Tickets are on sale now, but availability is limited. Visit tglgolf.com to get your tickets while they last. TGL, presented by SoFi. Keep up. It is golf. Colin Russo and Cade Shumson is Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. Got 2 games today, 2 games yesterday. You had the national championship, which is coming up in just about 2 days over at Hard Rock Stadium. Lots to look forward to there. Let's bounce around. Let's figure out the top headlines of the week. Let's do a little headline hierarchy.
5 mystery storylines from the National Football League.
I thought this would be purposeful on Cade's part.
1 Colin Russo hoping to not bury the lead.
This is not a big-time headline.
It's time for the headline hierarchy on Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Yes, sir, Colin. Let's do this once again. It's the headline hierarchy on Sunday Huddle, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Colin, your first headline. I listened to Sean McDermott's post-game press conference, and he said a headline that when you hear just the juicy part, it sounds like he's referring to the final call with the refs and the pass interference.
Right.
But in context, Sean McDermott was actually more upset that the refs didn't go to an official review for the interception, which led to the final drive. Take a listen. It's a little bit of a longer clip, but I love the context that Sean McDermott gives this whole situation.
We did take a look at it, and it's hard for me to, and I've had a chance to look at it, it's hard for me to understand why it was ruled the way it was ruled. And if it is ruled that way, then why wasn't it slowed down? Just to make sure that we have this right. That would have made a lot of sense to me, to make sure that we have this thing right, because that's a pivotal play in the game. We have the ball at the 20, maybe kicking a game-winning field goal right there. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'm saying it because I'm standing up for Buffalo, damn it. I'm standing up for us. Because what went on is not how it should go down.
Oh, my gosh.
In my estimation. That play, these guys spent 3 hours out there playing football, pouring their guts out, to not even say, hey, let's just slow this thing down. That's why I'm bothered.
Again, the juicy part, I'm standing up for Buffalo, sounds like it's about the pass interference, but it's not. It's the interception. Colin, was the interception the part that he should have been frustrated with?
There's way more of an argument for the interception going both ways than there is the pass interference going both ways. If you want to go frame by frame, yeah, it looks like Brandon Cooks catches the ball and his knee hits the ground. But to what we talked about earlier, I feel like the NFL has been pretty transparent in the necessity to survive the ground and to survive the pass breakup and to survive the hands that are being, when they're trying to swipe for the ball. That's pretty clear. I've always felt that it didn't look good for a while. I think college football has a weirder definition of a catch anyway. But you have to do a bunch of things to make sure it's registered as a catch. If you slow it down, yeah, it might look like he has it and he's down, but that's not usually how it goes. You got to survive the ground, and he did not. And he had it, and the defender had his hands on it almost immediately. So I don't really know what the argument is, because if you were to slow it down, the referees called on the field and they were never going to overturn that. Never. So I don't know the argument there, and I don't see it. I don't see it. Not the way that everybody else does. I don't think that's Buffalo getting screwed. I think Brandon Cooks got the ball stripped in the middle of a catch. And this is not like you both had their hands on it. That would be tie goes to the runner. It's the guy who ends up with the ball after the scrum. So I don't really know his argument there. But in context of the game, this is probably number 2. I'll put that there.
Interesting. Okay, so staying with last night's game, the immediate after facts, we go to Sean Payton's press conference where he reveals that Bo Nix has a broken ankle, which he suffered on the second to last real play of the game. No Bo Nix. It will be Jared Stidham in the AFC Championship. In the context of everything for this list, Colin, Bo Nix out is your headline.
This is number 1. This is number 1. Bo Nix being out of that AFC Championship game really changes things. It adds a lot of pressure to this Texan-Patriot game. A lot of questions about how they're going to handle this, and especially if it's going to change any of the game plan. And Patriots and Texans, whoever wins this game, they're probably going to be favored in the game. I'd be surprised if Denver is favored against either of those two teams with Jared Stidham starting, a guy who we haven't seen play basically all year. It's been a stable backup. They haven't needed him. So this is a really big question mark. Maybe he comes in and lights it up. Maybe he does. There's something to that about surprising your opponent. But if he's going to go against a vaunted defense like the Texans, Patriots have a good defense too, I don't know if I'd trust that. I don't know if I would trust that at all. So this can be number 1.
We've already got 1 and 2 knocked out of our headline hierarchy. Number 3, we'll go to another player who's out, but for today's game, it was reported earlier in the week, but still probably the biggest headline going into the game. Nico Collins for the Houston Texans, star wide receiver, is out with a concussion that he suffered in the wild card game. He will not be playing in Foxborough. There's no chance what would happen the following week, but no Nico Collins for the Houston Texans offense, which already struggles in general, now going up against the Patriots, Colin.
Yeah, this is number 4. Nico Collins is a big loss. He's a great player for the Texans, but a lot more is riding on Stroud's performance than it is on Collins' performance. Stroud doesn't play well. Doesn't matter if Collins is out there or not. They're not going to play well offensively. Stroud needs to have a big game. He doesn't need to have, they're going to do it like they always do. They're going to play it safe with him. He's going to throw for his 220 to 240 yards. He's going to have a touchdown drive or 2, and they're going to call it a day. That's going to be their game plan. But, hey, 17-13, Houston's down in the fourth quarter. Hey, CJ, we need one here. Can he step up to the plate? That's your big theme of the day. They've played without Collins before. They're going to have to do it again. They're going to rely through that defense, and they're going to rely through CJ Stroud doing just enough to win the football game. Number 4.
3 and 5 left on the headline hierarchy. A big headline that really flew under the radar with all of the dramatics in that Bills-Broncos game. The second biggest head coaching candidate is gone from the list because the Falcons nabbed him. Kevin Stefanski has been hired by the Atlanta Falcons to be their new head coach. And this is kind of like the first big deal that Matt Ryan has put together for the Falcons as, I believe, the president of operations there.
President of football, yep.
And then also worthy of note, this is the first Falcons head coaching hire with someone who has previous experience as a football head coach since 1997, going after a real veteran and someone who's won Coach of the Year twice. Was this the right move for the Falcons, and where does this land on our hierarchy?
This is the right move for the Falcons. I think they needed somebody with some offensive experience. I'm curious to see. He brings his offensive staff. You know, they didn't have any success really in Cleveland, but he's good with an operator. He's good with a guy who could buy into the offense, and they're keeping the defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, who was the interim for the Jets, who was a good defensive coordinator, and did a pretty good job for them. So they're keeping him around. I think this is probably the direction they should have went. You didn't need to go. You did not need to go young gun here. You have a ready roster. You don't need a coach that's figuring it out same time as the roster is. You got talent on the team, and I think they're looking to capitalize on that, which is why they went Stefanski. This can be number 5, though, because they're not a playoff team.
True that, and I love this hire, too, especially another thing. Nick Chubb was a huge part of his offense when he first got to Cleveland, and now he's got Bijan.
They got talent, and he's good with tight ends, too, and they got Kyle Pitts.
All right, number 3 is left for our headline hierarchy. Huge headline out of Chicago as they play the LA Rams is the weather. ABC 7 meteorologists from Chicago say it will be 17 degrees at kickoff at Soldier Field with the wind chill about 8 degrees. We're playing in the frozen tundra, but this time it's in Chicago, not Green Bay. Colin, how much will the weather be a factor in this game?
And the Rams haven't played in a game under 50 degrees really all year. I know Stafford has the NFC North blood in him, but there's something about your blood thinning when you get down south to the nice weather, and believe me, I'm saying that from experience. Woo! So this is going to be a game where the weather's going to have a factor. The weather is absolutely going to have a factor. The Bears, all they need to do, don't have a start like you've had all year. Don't do absolutely nothing for 3 quarters, because I don't think the Rams are going to let you get away with that. I don't. This is not going to be a game where you're relying on a collapse in order to get back into the game, because that's been their mantra throughout a lot of the year, especially against Green Bay. So I sit there from the perspective of you're going to have to score early and often. You're going to need to show some offensive prowess to throw a punch or two in the first half. And they were not able to do that in last week's game. You need to see the offense like you saw against San Francisco, second to last week of the year in week 17. That's the type of offense you're going to need to see tonight. Control the ball, rely on the weather, turn it into a little bit of a slugfest, and hope some of that magic comes out that the Bears have had all year. This is going to be stable at number 3.
Yeah, solid list for you, Colin. Also, great take on the Rams game. We could probably talk more about this in our next segment, but your headline hierarchy, Bo Nix out of these playoffs. Sean McDermott frustrated with the interception in overtime. Chicago weather, Nico Collins out, Kevin Stefanski to the Atlanta Falcons. For this NFL weekend, Colin, that's a solid headline hierarchy.
Yeah, I think I nailed it. I think I did everything properly. But with the headline hierarchies, you got to make sure you keep the playoff teams number 1. But that's what I'll say. Keep number 1 is Anajar and Levine. Listen, it's been a car accident, truck accident, something to slip and fall. An accident of any kind, my friends. Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine are the type that have your back and the type that want to defend you at the highest of levels. They didn't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. When you're trying to find an attorney, demand the best, go get the best. Go get Anajar and Levine today, because that's the difference. Anajar and Levine, make that one phone call and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Go take control of your life again with Anajar and Levine. We'll make our picks against the spread. We'll do a little pick 'em with the Blitz the Book with Hard Rock Bet. On the other side of things, it's Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet and ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, come again, man.
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. Let's kick off the new year with a home upgrade that's a win for you and the environment. A Culligan high-efficiency water softener helps you use less soap, less detergent, and fewer chemicals. Talk about a game-winning play. Try Culligan today for 12 months interest-free. Visit Culligan.com for more information and to schedule your free water test. Or just say,
Hey, Culligan, man!
When your team's best players have all been traded and the latest pick is overrated, just raise a glass with a friend or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. May your team be great and your picks be true, and if it falls apart, you'll know what to do. Just raise a glass with a fan or two and tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. Hey!
Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Miami's always hunting for a national championship. I'm attorney Brian Lebovic. As proud alums, we know how to compete at the highest level.
I'm Esther Lebovic. At the Lebovic Law Group, we bring a championship mindset to every injury case. Preparation, discipline, and relentless execution.
When a client's future is on the line, we don't just show up, we play to win.
Don't wait. Dial 8-561-888-8888. No fee unless we win for you.
Visit Lebovic.com.
Go Miami!
Hiring a lawyer is an important decision. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Jeff Bowden, Executive Principal and leader of Anshin's Tax Department.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act creates powerful new planning opportunities for high net worth individuals and business owners. The new tax legislation permanently increases the estate and gift tax exemption to $15 million per person, restores full expensing for domestic R&D costs, updates the Opportunity Zone and qualified small business stock provisions, and includes other changes that will impact businesses and individuals. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help clients understand the intricacies of the bill and develop a plan tailored to meet their goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner looking to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Spring training 2026 is coming fast to Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium as the Miami Marlins and St. Louis Cardinals return to Jupiter for 30 games in 30 days from February 21st to March 22nd. Come out to the ballpark this spring and make a memory that lasts a lifetime. Season tickets, groups, and mini plans are on sale right now. Purchase your baseball experience at RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com. See you soon at America's busiest ballpark.
Daisy right, Soy, Blitz right, Travolta right, Pumpkin left, Alert Charlotte left on one.
This is Sunday Huddle with Colin Russo, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
When the season's over, it can feel like when the trophy's raised, all the rah-rah, all the confetti. The season over, you don't like the feeling. But when you're on the ESPN app, it never really is over. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, coverage from just every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into. That means no offseason. Just everything a fan needs to keep going. It's always in season. Get all of ESPN all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today. Colin Russo and Cade Chumson. It is Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. Go download the Hard Rock Bet app and you can get started. Bet on just about any game you want, any league, anytime, future, live, game by game, player props, you name it. They got it. Put just $5 into the app. Bet that first $5 bet. If you win that first $5 bet, get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account. It is that easy. It is that fun. Go get started on Hard Rock today, and you could get in on the action. If you don't even know what to bet, check out the Discover page, see what other users are putting together, what other users' parlays. You can tap and tag along on their stuff. Use it to inspire your own bets. You can do it all in one spot. The interface is perfect. It's great for the new player and the experienced player. That's what you get on the Hard Rock Bet app. Try it today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're somebody who knows a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. All right, Cade, we got 3 football games remaining out of the 6 remaining this year, because we got 2 next week, the Super Bowl, 3, so we get 6 remaining. We got 3 games this weekend, and then the football season is almost concluded. Let's blitz the book with Hard Rock Bet. Blitz the book with Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. All right, Cade, we got 3 games to choose from. I'm thinking we make 4 picks. And 4 picks, I mean, we each take each of the 3 remaining games from the 2 today in the divisional round, that Bear-Ram game and that Texan-Patriot game. We also take the national championship with Indiana-Miami. And on top of that, we'll take a player prop from any of the games. Sound good?
We'll do.
All right, let's start things off. Let's start with the what's coming up right here in just about a couple hours. That Texan-Patriot game. I have one guess on where Cade is going with this, but where are you going to head with this, Cade?
Horns up, baby. We talking all Houston, and I'm loving it too because the line started at -3. It is now -3.5. More money going to the Patriots, which I love the underdog mentality. Give me Houston. I am more optimistic about this game than I was about the Pittsburgh game last week, which is crazy to think about. I think the defense comes in strong. Wow. I'm trying not to get my hopes too high, but I am stoked for today's 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans reluctantly here, the +3.5. I think this is a field goal game, for better or worse. So I'm going to take Texans +3.5. I don't even know if the Texans are going to win, but it's supposed to be 6 to 8 inches in Foxborough today. And it's going to snow throughout the evening. So you know this is going to be a weird, slowed up, muddied out game. And because of that, favors the defense. Who has the best defense? Texans do. +3.5 is my pick there. The second game of which, the Bears and the Rams. Cade, where are you heading?
This is a battle between, how do you guys say it? Mojo? What's the
Theme,
three?
Magic, and Mojo.
Yeah, there we go. Theme, Magic, and Mojo. With the Bears, and then the smart play and the line at -4.5 with the Rams. I have kicked myself more when I've gone against what the bettors at Hard Rock Bet are saying, and I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'll go with the Rams -4.
Rams -4. I'm going to go with the Bears +4. I like the underdogs today, and I've had an underdog theme all weekend. And the funny part is both the favorites have won. So I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to stick to my guns. An underdog's going to have to win eventually, and weather is going to be a great equalizer in both of these games. So therefore, I am taking the teams that like a muddied up football game, one being the Texans, and the second of which being the Bears. The Rams have played tight games, and they honestly have been a lot better when they have to win big and they dominate. I know they had a game-winning drive last week against the Panthers, but they've had a number of situations where they haven't played great in a muddied up, weird game. Eagle game is being one of them. That Seahawk game was muddied up towards the second half. Atlanta muddied it up. I think this is going to be a Bear game. Not only am I going to take them with the +4, I'm going to take them to win outright. I like the Bears today, and I think they're going to be going to Seattle next week in the NFC Championship game. All right, Kate, your national championship pick is what?
The line is right now in favor of Indiana, -7.5. Give me the Hoosiers. Hurricanes, go prove me wrong. This is Indiana all the way.
I agree. I mean, I said it yesterday. I mean, I'm going to die on if there's a hill I'm going to die on. I think the Indiana Hoosiers are going to win by 7.5 points. There's one argument I could be sold on. Indiana's due to play a close game, but there are wolves and there are sheep. There are gauntlet, juggernaut teams. And I think every single time you get further into the playoffs, the other team, the losing team, realizes that there's levels to this. College football, at its core, I know we're talking about the parity, but it's a sport that is highlighted by its disparity and by there being one or two dominant teams, and the rest are sort of just working hard to keep up. I would say that this is going to be another one of those games, and the Indiana Hoosiers are going to finish off one of the most impressive college football seasons in the history of the sport and the most impressive sports turnaround in the history of sports. That is what we will see tomorrow at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm anticipating a 10 to 15 point game, a 2-possession game in which Miami cannot score to keep up with Indiana's offense. That'll be where I sit there. Player prop, what do you have?
Player prop, we love to make these plus money, so let's try that again. I am going for my boldest prediction of the year. I see the weather in Chicago affecting a lot of things, and I'm not just going to go for a running back to do well. I think the shorter passes from the Rams, I think Sean McVay's going to be intelligent with where he places the ball. Screen games, outs to running backs. Kyron Williams, I think, will have a bigger game receiving than I think he will running the ball. Over 65 reception or receiving yards for Kyron Williams is at plus 1750 on the Hard Rock Bet app right now. Give me those odds. Give me a good screen game from Kyron Williams, plus 1750, plus 65 rushing or receiving yards.
I like the idea of capitalizing on good odds, and I'm going to piggyback that a little bit. Caleb Williams is plus 325 to get 40 plus rushing yards. He will be moving those legs today. And when they need to squeak out first downs, field goal position, that is going to be when he uses his legs. 40-plus rushing yards for Caleb Williams.
Love that.
That's what I'm taking. That is Cade Chumson. Appreciate him keeping us up over the air today. If you missed any of it, go listen to Sunday Huddle on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or go watch it back on YouTube at ESPN South Florida and Twitter and Facebook at ESPN West Palm. We got a weird local programming day tomorrow for the national championship. Listen to Theoretically Speaking from 12 to 2:30 live from Hard Rock Stadium, and myself and Mike Rizzo from 2:30 to 6. That's been Cade Chumson. Colin Russo saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the games. It's Sunday Huddle presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
The preceding program was paid for in full by Hard Rock Bet. Advice and opinions expressed during this program were solely those of the guests or hosts of this program and not of ESPN 106.3 or Good Karma Brands.
As teams fight for their shot to hoist the trophy, make sure the only thing turning up the heat is the action on the field.